Hey guys, I started working on some of the cross members and I wanted to show you what I have here so far. You can see, working with this camera stem, this is 11 gauge. It's really hard to bend this. I guess you could probably heat it to try to bend it, but I don't have a real brake that can bend this thing. It's pretty heavy. But it came out pretty nice as far as I'm concerned, and it's certainly got a lot of strength. So anyway, I'll just show you what I was doing here. The way I do it is I have a DeWalt grinder. Now I know there's a lot of guys who don't like to talk about the products, but I'm going to tell you something. I've bought all kind of grinders. A lot of grinders like a Black & Decker last me one day. This sucker's lasted me 3 years, and I've cut everything from backhoe buckets right down the middle to narrow them, or all kinds of steel. Now yeah, it uses pretty many blades, but just a heads up, if you're going to buy something that grinds steel, buy a DeWalt. I think that thing was like 79 bucks. Also, when you're cutting, you can either buy, like these are Harbor Freight. My kid works near Harbor Freight, so I send them there a lot of times for some of the stuff that they have that I know doesn't fall apart. But I can cut a whole piece of this with a DeWalt blade, whereas I need 3 of these blades to cut the same thing. Now, you know, it depends on what you're wanting. It seems like the value's better with DeWalt, but sometimes the DeWalt blades also fall apart. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. I bought a bunch of sheets that are 18, I think, by 24 or 18 by 36. And what I did was I sort of cut them up, measured the beam. This beam inside here is basically 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 inches. You can see it has a taper there. I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, what I did was I cut the piece wide enough to accommodate that. And then I marked the piece 1 1/4 inches down, or 1 1/2 inches down actually, so that that's where I would put my bend. Now when I originally bought the steel for the truck, let me go shut that beeper off. I have an alarm beeper. It's going off because of the sunlight. Sorry about that. Anyway, when I originally bought the steel, I bought 2 10-footers of the 8-inch stuff so that I would be able to make sure I had enough to go as far as I had to go. So I have some leftover pieces here. I wouldn't exactly say leftover. I'm not done with the frame yet, but I have some pieces. This piece here is about 4 foot long. Came from the pieces that I've already used. And this naturally is a 10-footer here. They're pretty heavy, but what I did, and what I'm going to do again, is I use them as a place to break on, because they don't bend so much or give with something like this. So just set it up as if you were setting up a regular brake on the line, and then clamp that thing in place. And all I do is beat on that. Now, I was thinking about heating it, because when you get to be my age, you sort of slow down in a lot of ways. But anyway, this is how I would bend this, or how I'm going to bend this. So just take myself a good ball peen hammer, make sure the clamps are tight, yeah, and start. This one edge looks wider than the other. I must have made a bad mark there. I do have a bad mark. Let me change that. Also, if you want to, when you go to mark this steel when you first buy it, there's like a coating of oil on it. And I found out that if you take alcohol out of a can and wipe that off before you start using your marker, the marker will leave a mark and the tape will also stick to the metal. Otherwise, the first coat of tape doesn't stick. So anyway, that's how I go about bending that. And I'd bend that thing all the way over until I have a 90. I can stand that up and beat on it when it's bent a little bit. But that's how I'm going to make these pieces that go across. Again, if you look at this, this piece has a bend to it here. It also has a bend in the middle like a hump. I'm not going that route because to me that hump was because they needed the ratchet for the tire space to be able to pull the tire up against the frame, and I see no reason why this has to be on an angle anyway. So what I'm going to do, I'm not sure why they did it. I don't care why they did it. I'm just going to build this thing wide enough to cover that whole area there, both sides, and weld the plate down through the middle. When it comes to those other ones, these here, they obviously need a shape because of the gas tank and the muffler on both ends. So what I'll do is I'll cut those patterns out, just like you see them there, looking like a saddle or whatever. I'll cut those out and in a flat piece, and then I'll go ahead and weld the bottom onto that, and then I'll weld the top one. I'll make like a box beam rather than that U-channel, because I don't really see the reason for the U-channel, because I can put bolts down through that U-channel ahead of time for the gas tank and all. So anyway, that's what I'm doing so far. Thanks a lot for watching. Talk to you again later. Bye.